Hey everybody. Let's see. I think I've got one more video that I need to do for sure, and that has to do with making sure that we know what to do with the informed consent and debriefing forms, which are Appendix A and D. I have, I think, covered Appendix B and C already, so I think those don't need to be dealt with any further. And I know that Appendix A looks a little bit like a bit of a mess because we were trying to anticipate two different contingencies. One being that you might try to do something cross-sectional, the other that you, or experimental, the other being that you might try to do something longitudinal. Although the odds of too many people doing too much longitudinal is kind of minimal. So I am going to try to share my screen. Ordinarily, I'd let Santi up, but I'm going to be trying to type, and typing with her on me sometimes gets to be a little bit of a challenge, but I get a feeling I may not have much of a choice here. All right, so, I mean, it's all right. Come on, Zanti, come on. All right, so, I know she's such a sweetie. All right, so I'm gonna try as best I can. This will be a little rougher than I like, but that's all right. You have somebody who's been a friend of yours for 8 years, it's kind of hard to say no to them. Okay, so you can see where I am right now. I'm in my Word document in my Prospectus template, and if you look at Appendix A, yeah, you'll see that there's a lot there. And so first thing I need to do is just kind of change the title. And since I may not necessarily want my participants to know what I am doing, and there's a lot of ways you can do this. I want you to do what you need to do. So, you know, I might call this image quality and cognitive performance. All right, so something about this. And I may just simply change a few things around. You're going to have to fill in some blanks. One is to come up with a purpose for the study. And for some, you may just want to just go ahead and spill the beans. For some, you may be wanting to use some deception. I'm in social psychology. We use deception a lot. And I'll go ahead and work on this. Is to assess cognitive performance Okay, I'm going to need to see something here because this is not quite right. Exposed to images of varying quality. And so that's one thing I'll have to do. I'm going to say that it'll require 10 to 15 minutes of your time, probably be a little less than that. Your participation will take place. I'm going to do this in person. At least I'm going to hope that COVID is less of a problem and that I actually have a space at UAFS. We'll begin immediately after you've completed this consent form. You will be asked to, I'm going to kind of put this in. However many items you have for your demographic survey, just leave that, modify that as needed. You'll also be asked to complete, and again, you can do whatever you need to do here. An image of an object and rate its quality. And then you will be asked to complete a word completion task. All right, so I have basically everything I need right there. Since this is not longitudinal, I can go ahead and delete all of this. It goes bye-bye. If your study is longitudinal, then you'll want to use that instead. Okay, so we'll go next to confidentiality and safeguards. And I'm just going to put in the IRB's email address. Okay, and everything else I can pretty much just leave alone, I think, at this point. All right. There really are no known risks here, so you should feel uncomfortable in responding to any of the items in this study. Please be assured that you may omit answers to these questions without penalty of any kind. And then I'll just go ahead and put enrolled in experimental psych. And I don't know why this keeps doing some of this nonsense. I think for some reason, some of our template was done full justification. And I really haven't paid too much attention to that before. So obviously, between now and next spring, I'm going to have to go in and I'm going to have to make sure that all of that gets changed so that you don't end up with something that looks really wonky, or at least future students don't have to mess with it as much. Okay, The only thing that you have to worry about is future relations with UAFS, which of course is not going to be a problem. Okay, if you wish to talk to anybody about blah, 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 feel free to call James Benjamin at 788-7573, which, by the way, you have all this information. Gardner building. $130. And Lisa Norris, I believe, is the contact for the IRB. So that's really about all you have to do there. Okay. Again, I'll need to change this top here, which is fine, not a big deal. Okay, so there you go. And then you do the same thing again. So okay, I'm gonna undo some of that because I clearly did something I didn't want to do. Typing while a cat is resting their head on your hand, by the way, can be kind of a challenge. She has a sweet cat. All right, you're making a decision about to pay, and again, just the same basic thing. Okay, again, you can deal with the rest of the stuff already. Let's get down to business with the debriefing form. I'm just going to say the current. It's better understand. And here, this is where I'm going to start being a lot more forthcoming. The start changing some of this. Make it a little better. All right. something like that. Okay, so again, the idea is just simply to have something written. Okay, and go ahead and just put my office info in again. And then, let's see, Counseling Center. I'm going to have to look that up because I don't remember. Okay, so okay, my computer is running a little slow, so bear with me. Okay, so Pendergraft Health Sciences Center. And 29. Let's see their phone number. 7398. Okay, and then you can format it as you need to. Okay, so I know it'll look a little wonky. All right, and then Appendix E, remember I just told you earlier, we're going to pretend Appendix E does not exist. You will not be penalized for it. It never was there. I know you're seeing it, but just pretend it's not there. All right, on that note, I'll stop sharing. But basically, again, the idea is very simple. I just simply really want you to realize that it's not that difficult a task to fill in these blanks. If I can do it, anybody else can do it. So, and yes, it is obvious to me that we do have some formatting issues to continue to muck about with, but you know, that's something that I can make a project of over winter break or something like that and be just fine. And every time I work with this template, I find something new that I have to redo. But again, I think you see the basics, okay? As far as, you know, naming a study, and again, you may not be in, you're probably not in my situation where I do use a certain amount of deception in order to get an accurate reading of behavior. You are probably more prone to be in a situation where you're able to get away with saying, this is the title of my study, this is what we're measuring, and not have to worry about it. There's actually a bit of talk about demand characteristics in studies, and one of the things we're finding is that there may not be nearly as major problems we think they are. So, you know, a lot of the deception manipulations that we do in my field may turn out to be less necessary than we ever thought. That's a distinct possibility. I never would have thought that, but I was at a webinar last week that kind of got me rethinking things just a little bit. But again, you do what's best for your purposes. Use what you need, don't use what you don't need, okay? And I think as you can see, this is not that hard. So other than, yeah, having to mess around with the formatting. And again, I just want you to try. That's literally all you have to do is try. And if you do that, you get credit, seriously. And any modifications we need to make for those that are going on, who are majors in particular, who are going on and taking the more advanced methods courses, either this fall or the subsequent fall, then we can take care of all of any things that need to be changed then. All right, so I'll go ahead and end on that note, and I may put a final video in or not, I don't know yet. For those of you who've been continuing to work on your prospectus drafts, my sincere thanks for what you've been doing. You have my respect for your persistence, for your effort, for your intellect, for all the hard work. It'll pay off. And so let's just get to it. We're almost at the finish line. July 1st will come and go before you know it. All right. So hang in there. We're at the finish line. We're almost done. And you won't have to think about, once you've passed this course, you don't have to think about research methods ever again. For those of you who really don't want to think about research methods ever again, and for those for whom this is your favorite course, you can mourn and know that if you're a psych major, there are other methodology courses you get to take, and so you'll get more. So, if that's your flavor, and I don't know everybody, I don't want to make assumptions. So keep at it. Take care, stay safe, and we'll be in touch.